morning. This is Eureka Street Crypto Hub, and this is Eureka John broadcasting live from Leander, Texas at 7:09 in the morning. It is Sunday, March 28th, 21. And waking up late this morning, and I am beat all day yesterday, the entire day at the skate park. So my legs are jelly. But yeah, it was a really fun day with the family and with my brother's family and with the kids and everything too. Right now I have a new artist playing called Slow Magic on Audius, and Audius is my new favorite go-to for discovering music, and I'm not sponsored by them. I just really like this app, and I bought some audio token finally. So didn't really find a good entry place because it's just blowing up right now, but I really love and support the project, and I do try to invest in projects that I like regardless of the costs. So and I believe in this project. So yeah. Anyway, let's get down to the meat and potatoes of this episode. Let's see here. Let's pull up the old CoinGecko. I don't really have that much of an agenda because I didn't have a chance to do a lot of research on anything yesterday. But I have been doing some ongoing research on the Lightning Network, so I guess I'll talk about the Lightning Network today. It's been one of those topics that's just been I always see it around, the Lightning Network, and people talk about it, and Bitcoin maxis say, oh, we don't need all these other shite coins because the Lightning Network's going to sit here and take over, and we're going to have block stacks on the Lightning Network, and everything else is worthless, and why would you want to invest in any other type of altcoin? Well, I mean, okay, so let's look into the Lightning Network. So first of all, let's take, I'm not going to discount anybody, unlike the maxis do. Like I said, I'm in it for the tech too, and not just to make money. And I think a lot of these other projects have so much promise. And then Web 3.0 coming out, where basically you're required to have a MetaMask wallet in your browser, or some other type of wallet. So, and those are not based on Bitcoin. So let's see here. Let me refresh my CoinGecko and see where we are. 55,971 at Bitcoin. We had a bunch of options expire, and it looks like Bitcoin did not really skip a beat. Let me see here. There was an article on options, and I had it pulled up. Okay, so here we go. 6 billion in Bitcoin options contracts expired yesterday. That is a lot of money in options. And if you don't understand what options are, it's basically gives you the option after a time has passed to buy. It basically allows you to lock in a future price. So it gives you the option to buy or sell some kind of asset at a price that you set some period of time before. So say this time last month, I believed that Bitcoin was going to hit a certain price, and if it did, then I can buy it at that price. I suck at options. I'm not a finance dude. I don't play with options. I don't play with that. All that stuff to me is just dangerous. But some people can make a lot of money on it. And so when a lot of money is placed into options, that's like the worst explanation of options ever. When a lot of money is placed into options, it kind of locks it up for a while, and then it makes the market a little unpredictable. And when they expire, it could potentially flood the market with a bunch of a certain asset, in this case Bitcoin, and it could affect the price. And it doesn't seem to have affected the price because the price has actually risen by about 2%. What's up, Pillow Slayer? How you doing? And got somebody coming on live and coming online and saying what's up. So let me give a little gift. Yeah, Theta's great. It allows me to give things to people that pop online. So yeah, all those options expired and nothing really happened, and I saw all over Twitter feeds and stuff like that of people making a big deal about these options, and it's really basically just like nothing. So so yeah, in brief, over 6 billion of Bitcoin options and contracts expired yesterday on Deribit. Following the dip earlier in the week, Bitcoin has since risen. The projected Bitcoin dump following the expiry of the option contracts didn't happen. If you read further down, and in actuality, it could depress the price of Bitcoin if all that Bitcoin in the options flooded the market, but that hasn't happened this month. In the past 24 hours, Bitcoin has risen by 2.26% to its current price of $54,444 as of writing, and now that price is at $55,912.40. So the options didn't do jack squat. All right. Anyway, we got Ethereum at 1704.31. Binance got back up into third place after dropping to fourth place yesterday, behind Tether. Tether's a stable coin, so it doesn't really even matter anyway. Cardano $1.19. It's kind of been slowly getting its way back up there. So I did take a little bit of profits from my Cardano, but I still hold quite a bit. So yes, don't forget to take your profits, people. We're in this for a reason. I have bills to pay. I'm not gonna be the hodl for life guy, because why? You want to be able to spend some of the money that you put into it and at least scoop off the profits and play with the house money after that, or scoop off the initial investment is what I meant. Polkadot 32.49, XRP 54 cents, Uniswap 28.25, Theta Network at 12.53, Litecoin 183.81, and Chainlink at 27.03. And then let's see. I always forget there's others. Aave still floating around mid 300s. I wanted to get back up there. It hit mid 500s for a little bit, and I like Aave. It's a great project. It's the first DeFi platform that I really understood, and where you can lock away your DAI or anything and borrow against it. Or earn interest off of money that you've put away. So it's just basically like a bank account in the 1980s where you could actually earn interest and not 0.09%. And let's see here. We've got Chili's at 52 cents, and Hedera Hashgraph sticking around the mid 30 cents area. BitTorrent still right there at the 0.003 mark. Zilliqa has gone up to 17 cents. So not a whole lot of major action. BitMax has actually gone up 79.2%. I have no idea what BitMax is. I think it's an exchange, a centralized exchange token. And let's see here. The Anchor. I want to check into this Akash network. That's a smaller coin that I think is going to do very well. I will look into that later today. It's basically a decentralized Amazon cloud type of server, and I think it has a lot of potential. Blockstacks $1.26. Bancor. Okay, so Swissborg is another one of those I want to kind of look into. I think that's a centralized exchange. I've never really gone on it. So yeah, man, that's all I really have for that right now. Okay, so another thing too, I did find an interest. I tried to jump in. Okay, Bat does these little advertisements, and when you click on them, you get small little bits of Bat. And let's see here, this one I found interesting. With the advertisements, the good thing is Bat actually has some decent advertisements. So, what did I do here? Okay. All right. What's up, email and 321 Mina TV? So, this one here is called Delta Badger, and let's see here. Delta Badger is a dollar cost averaging investment tool, and it looks pretty cool. I mean, I am a dollar cost average type of dude. And I don't have anything set on automatic dollar cost averaging, but dollar cost averaging is a really safe way to invest if you're going to do so. It basically puts in a little bit of money regularly, regardless of the price. And as things go up and down in the market like that, it's generally been going up, and so you follow the average trend up, and you kind of safeguard your way into an investment rather than trying to just dump a bunch of money in one day and then it drops off. I mean, either way, if you're in it for the long run, dollar cost averaging is the best way to go, because then you just follow the trend of the market. Delta Badger looks to be automating buying any currency daily, weekly, or even hourly on a dollar cost average basis. And it's used through Kraken as kind of a plug-in, it looks like. I don't use any of these exchanges: Binance US, BitBay, Bitso, Coinbase. I use Coinbase Pro sometimes, FTX, Gemini, or Kraken. So it's basically allows you through any of those exchanges to kind of dollar cost average in, just even on an hourly basis. So as you can see here on the graph, regular purchases, and the average price. Dollar cost average is a strategy of investing where you buy an asset for a fixed amount on a regular schedule regardless of its price. You get more of the asset when the price is lower and less of it when the price is higher. As a result, instead of taking a big short-term bet, you get a fair average price. DCA keeps you away from the emotional roller coaster, short-term risk, and decision-making anxiety. Some people get so emotionally worked up about trading and all this stuff, and especially when people put in more than they are able to afford, and that can create a lot of stress. Or when people leverage, and that's whenever you borrow against some currency you already have, and then you use what you've borrowed to trade on top of that. Or you can even lock that away and then borrow against that, and that's double and triple and quadruple leverage, and all that stuff is dangerous territory. If you're new to this space, do not get into leveraged trading. It is risky, and you will get absolutely wrecked. I don't do it. I don't even use this type of DCA type of stuff. I just buy when I can and when I have a little extra money, regardless of the price. So I don't try to strategically jump into all this, because I'm not smart enough to be a trader. Most people will not outsmart the market. So just keep that in mind. If you're a hot pants type of person and you think you can do it, then all right, more power to you. But I do enjoy at times looking at some TA, technical analysis, and graph type of people that are really good at it. And there is one person that is good at. There are a couple guys that I trust, and this guy here, you can give him a follow on Twitter. I trust this person's TA, and TA is hard for me to understand, but he does some videos on YouTube and breaks it down, and I'm able to understand some of what he's talking about, and it's interesting stuff. He uses what's called an Ichimoku cloud and stuff like that. So yeah, anyway, back to Delta Badger here. Why is it better than a lump sum investment? In the short term, the price may still go up or down or sideways. Lump sum wins only in the first scenario if the price goes up. DCA wins in two others if the price goes down or sideways. The magic of DCA puts you in green even if the price didn't change at the end. So can I improve DCA with RSI or Mayer multiple? I don't even know what those are. So not really. Oscillators don't work well on an upward trend. The next bottom is often higher than the previous top. There's no automated strategy that wins with DCA, because DCA is simply investing in the market trend, which can't be beaten consistently with any math formula. So I mean, it's just basically the tried and true tortoise and hare story. You be the tortoise. Kind of move slowly at your own pace, and you'll eventually get there. And it'll be done right. Dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin is a new standard for long-term savers. Growing regulations limit individuals' access to financial markets, while negative interest rates devalue bonds and savings accounts. In that environment, both individuals and companies continue investing in Bitcoin. So, yeah, you can dollar cost average with this app here, and you can even do it on the hourly type of rate. So, interesting stuff. All right. And again, I'm not sponsored, so that was not a sponsored advertisement. I just found it interesting. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Lightning Network. Lightning Network is that what I hear a lot of people talk about is going to solve the Bitcoin scalability issue. What is the Bitcoin scalability issue? Okay. All participants or nodes receive copies of the transactions in Bitcoin. All those nodes all around the world have to basically be in consensus or an agreement before a transaction can be made in a block produced, and it'd be added to the block. The process of validating the transactions by every node, called miners, in the network can bog down the system, particularly during periods of high transaction volume. As a result, Bitcoin has faced a scalability issue, meaning there are challenges when the network tries to process more transactions simultaneously. In order for Bitcoin to move to the next level and process more data, the network needs to build scale, which would allow more transactions to be processed quickly and efficiency. The latency in the network has led to higher transaction fees as miners take longer to validate transactions. Also, participants can sometimes pay a higher fee to have their transactions processed faster. Bitcoin's Lightning Network was introduced to help improve the processing times, build scalability, and lower the network's transaction fees. And then let's see here. I know there's a couple other things I had pulled up. Decrypt has a good article about what is Lightning Network and how to use it in 2020. The Lightning Network is a way of handling Bitcoin transactions without the need to verify them on the blockchain. It's designed to speed up verification times and to allow more transactions to take place at the same time. It's basically kind of like a layer 2 for Bitcoin, like Ethereum has a layer 2 solutions of Loopring and Matic and a few others. But you don't have to take your Bitcoin and lock it away or put it away into a different layer, like you have to on Loopring or Matic, or you don't have to. So Bitcoin has been hampered by its own popularity thanks to the way blockchain is designed. The speed of transaction is slow and the cost of transactions have gone up. Researchers, developers, and the Bitcoin community have been trying to come up with a way of allowing Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies to allow more transactions. Their best efforts to date have focused around something called the Lightning Network. Can it fix the cryptocurrency scaling problem? Okay, so speed and cost are two of the problems. The two limitations we need to explain is speed. In blockchains, blocks are essentially groups of transactions collected together. And as I said, all the transactions have to go around through all the nodes in the world to where the nodes will come up with a total consensus as to what that transaction is. And if there's an issue and it doesn't come to full consensus, then it gets rejected. As part of a blockchain's design, there are only so many transactions that can be included in a block. If your transaction doesn't make it into the current block, it joins a queue, a nice little long line of blocks. That queue can take anywhere from a few minutes to potentially a day or more to process, depending on how many transactions are queried in the meme pool. This limits the blockchain's use as a medium to process quick transactions like buying a cup of coffee. No one wants to wait around for the network to verify you've got the cash. Now let me show you this little visual. Let's see here. Transaction Street. This is a visualizer, and I've shown you guys this before, but I think this is very relevant when talking about the Lightning Network. Hold on, let me take down this Brave browser shield that will pop up. Ta-da! Okay, shield's down for this site. So, yeah, while that's loading, we will go back to this article, and the next limitation is cost. Bitcoin's network and others are built upon a consensus protocol called proof of work. This is where the miners expend energy trying to solve a different puzzle to help offset the cost of equipment. Because all those ASICs and all that Bitcoin mining equipment is expensive. The power is expensive. The warehouse that they need nowadays is expensive because you cannot mine Bitcoin from your house. So unless you live like in Nepal or something in a huge warehouse type of house. When the mining is small and the numbers of transactions that need verifying are few and far between, the network works well and the transaction costs are low. As the network grows, however, so does the cost of transaction fees, since there's limited space in each newly minted block. As a result, only the highest fee transactions are processed highly during the times of high load. Bitcoin's scalability challenge becomes apparent towards the end of 2017 when millions of people jumped on the Bitcoin bandwagon and struggled to cope with the number of transactions. At its peak in December 2017, the average cost to process one transaction on the Bitcoin blockchain, whether it was for $1 or $1,000, was $37. That makes the Bitcoin Bitcoin uneconomical in the form of currency, since the transaction fee would be higher than the actual payment for many small transactions. That's where the Lightning Network comes in. And this is true too. I tried to move some Bitcoin from one of my wallets to potentially go onto Celsius or BlockFi. And I began the process, and then my transaction was going to cost me a couple $100. And that kind of, it turned me off a little bit. I was like, I don't know if I really want to spend a couple $100 on my Bitcoin and move all this over to a centralized Bitcoin platform. So I backed out of that one, and I didn't do it, so it's still sitting in cold storage. So anyway, so here's Transaction Street. So I'll give you an example, a visual example. So these are the blocks, they're the little subway cars. And here's Ethereum going right here. Ethereum, in comparison to Bitcoin, moves pretty quick. So you have all the transactions coming from all these various places right here. And so it's coming from Uniswap, coming from Tether, USDC, MakerDAO, Chainlink, OpenSea's NFT platform, Compound Finance, Balancer, SushiSwap, CryptoKitties down here, 0x, Kyber Network, and Synthetics, and it just goes on to a bunch of different places where a lot of these transactions could be coming from to jump on the Ethereum blockchain. And then whenever the block gets full, it moves on and the block is produced. Here's the Bitcoin one. It's coming from the Lightning Network. And then this one here, I think, is like some donation type of platform that helps you to support the site. But these are just Bitcoin transactions, all right? And look how backed up that is, And SegWit is another whole ball game. I'm not even going to get into that right now, but it, obviously it's a way to jump on and create more transaction volume. Coming from the Lightning Network, and see this got over full, and I guess some of the lower transaction fee people got pushed off and pushed it back to the car before it. And as you can see, there is some congestion in the Bitcoin blockchain network, and it takes a long time to get a transaction through, and the transaction fees right now are pretty high. The median transaction fee is $4.13, and you can switch you can switch currencies here, so Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. So you can compare those visually, and I just think this is an amazing visualization. Whoever made this is a freaking genius. So that kind of gives you a visualization of what's going on. The Lightning Network, in a nutshell, the Lightning Network allows participants to transfer Bitcoins between one another without any fees using their digital wallets. Payment channels are created between the two users so they can transact with each other. In other words, off-chain transactions. Kind of like a side chain in a way for Ethereum. Lightning Network is another layer added to the Bitcoin's blockchain so that it can process micropayments between participants. The goal of the network was to create channels in which payments could be made between users without any delays or fees. By allowing the transactions to be done off-chain, the processing time and number of transactions done via the off-chain network would be improved. It does not completely solve Bitcoin's transactions fee problem. And here's a little graph here: Alice to Bob to Carol to Dave. Bob discloses R to Alice within 3 days. Alice can prove she sent funds to Dave. Bob discloses R to Alice within 3 days. Alice can Alice and Bob agree to update the balances in the channel instead of broadcasting on the blockchain. So it's kind of like a side little hustle, an under the table type of transaction that isn't accounted for on the official transaction on the books until it actually completes, and then it's recorded on the books. So Lightning Network is often touted as the solution to the problem of Bitcoin's rising transaction fees. Its proponents claim that transaction fees, which is one of the direct consequences of Bitcoin's clogged network, will come down after the technology takes transactions off the main blockchain. But Bitcoin congestion is one of the several factors that influences transaction fees. Besides, the cryptocurrency fee itself is a large component of the Lightning Network's overall costs. There are opening and closing channel costs. The two parts consist of a fee equivalent to Bitcoin's transaction charges in order to open and close the channel. So whenever you're going to create this little side under the table or side hustle type of transaction group, you have to open that channel between somebody, and then you have to close that channel. So those are two fees right there. There's routing fees to open and close those channels. There's a separate routing fee to transfer payments between channels. So if you want to change the channels, you got to pay a fee for that. Since the fees for the Lightning Network are quite low, in theory, it should attract more participants. However, if the fees are so low for the routing payments between nodes, there might not be any incentive for the nodes to facilitate those payments, because it probably could be a pain in the ass for the node operators. As businesses adopt the Lightning Network as a method of payment, they may also charge fees. The problem contrasts with the approach being taken by other cryptocurrencies to increase their payment business. What's up, Batman Zephyr? And then, for example, hold on one second. Okay, Dash has free software plugins for merchants to download and use. Dash uses master nodes that must have had deposited 1,000 in Dash coins so that they can approve transactions very quickly. The fees for users are approximately 2 cents per transaction, and Dash payments are available at more than 4,000 payments. So that's the contrast to the routing fees here. And then remaining online all times makes the nodes susceptible to risk. Nodes on Bitcoin's Lightning Network are required to be online at all times in order to send and receive payments. Since the parties involved in the transactions must be online, and then they use their private keys to sign in, it's possible the coins could be stolen if the computer storing the private keys was compromised. However, cold storage of coins, which is considered the safest method for storing cryptocurrencies, as possible on Lightning Network. So that's good too. There's offline transaction risk. Going offline creates its own set of problems. It's possible for the two parties from a channel to close the channel and pocket funds while the other is away. It's known as fraudulent channel close. There's a time period to contest the closing of a channel, but a prolonged absence of one of the parties could result in an expiry of that period. And then there's malicious attacks. A risk of congestion is caused by malicious attack. If the payment channels become congested, there's a malicious hacker attack. The participants may not be able to get their money back fast enough due to congestion. So forced expirations of many transactions may be the greatest systemic use when using Lightning Network. And then there's price fluctuations. Bitcoin right now is all over the place, so it's kind of unsustainable for businesses to do that. They can open payment channels with a landlord or payment e-commerce stored. Okay, so let's say here, the increase in its transaction volume is largely attributed to a rise in trading volumes. In other words, Bitcoin's popularity is a double-edged sword, since the increased attention garners investment but also attracts more traders, increasing the volatility or price fluctuations in the cryptocurrency. It makes it challenging for companies to use Bitcoin as a method of payment when pricing their products, to sell their customers or purchase inventory. Let's say a company has to pay an invoice to their supplier of Bitcoin. Typically, a supplier gives their clients time to pay, such as 30 days. If Bitcoin price has increased by 10% during the 30-day period, the business has to come up with another 10% worth of fiat currency or other currency to convert to Bitcoin and pay the invoice to pay the supplier. This exchange risk exists because the businesses might be paid by their customers in a fiat currency and not Bitcoin. The exchange risk also exists for consumer transactions, since the salary or wages for most individuals are not paid in Bitcoin unless you live in Miami now, leading to transactions being converted from a fiat currency to Bitcoin. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different challenges on here. Sometimes I wonder, when people talk about the risk of a lot of this stuff, I think Michael Saylor said it pretty correctly. There's a risk just by walking across the street. There's always a risk. What if the traffic light failed and you got mowed over by a car? That could happen. So in everything there's a risk. So I do read these risks and a lot of these things, and I take them seriously. But we also have to assess how much preparing for these risks is necessarily worth it. And a lot of people dog on the Texas power grid during all this freeze that we happened and completely failing. However, the last time it froze like that was 1949. So, can you really blame the operators and the creators of the power grid for not preparing for a freeze of proportions that has not happened since 1949? So, yeah, I mean, there's a trade-off always with everything. The advent of the Lightning Network is also supposed to herald Bitcoin's viability as a medium for daily transactions. Customers are able to open payment channels with businesses or people that they transact with frequently. For example, they can open payment channels with their landlord or favorite e-commerce store and transact using Bitcoins. It has a ways to go before gaining mainstream traction. The increase in its transactions volume is largely attributed to a rise in trading volumes. So yeah, it talks about that. There's larger payments via Lightning Network, so now that's allowed. Crypto exchanges are going to emerge using Lightning Network. Kraken seems like it's going to begin supporting it. So only withdrawals will be allowed at first, but the payment channels will be possible. There's something called a watchtower to prevent fraud. So there's a way that if one person closes a channel before the other person, that gives the person an opportunity to revert the transaction back to the first initial state, and then that way somebody would receive 3,000 or a certain amount of Bitcoin for free, as if the transaction never happened. So anyway, Lightning Network's an ever-evolving concept that's likely to make a significant difference to Bitcoin's blockchain. The network might not be the solution to all challenges facing Bitcoin. Also, as changes and improvements are made to the network, there's potential for new problems within the cryptocurrency's ecosystem. It will depend on the research and development of this new technology in the future. And then Decrypt, here they have a whole thing on here about Lightning Network. Let's see how long this is. It's 5 minutes worth of video. You can go here. I'll link all this stuff in the video description. Lightning Network is a fascinating topic. I don't think it's going to replace all the progress that we've made for Ethereum. I know Melam Demir said Bitcoin is not just a dumb rock. So don't just call it and relegate it to it just being gold. And she has a great point, and I loved that article about her. And I do love the Blockstacks network, where DeFi is going to be built on top of the Bitcoin network. So we have DeFi, which takes place on top of the Bitcoin network through Blockstacks, allowing smart contracts, and then we have the Lightning Network, which is another layer on top of Bitcoin, which is going to allow for really fast transaction speed to make Bitcoin kind of a transactional coin. But I mean, do we really want Bitcoin to do these things? Bitcoin is a store of value. Do you really want to use Bitcoin as a transactional currency? Because Bitcoin to me does not seem like it should be a currency. I mean, maybe now it could be, but should it? I don't know. Anyway, Decrypt talks about who came up with the idea. It has its origins and musings by Satoshi Nakamoto, the legendary pseudonymous creator of Bitcoin, but was formalized by researchers Joseph Poon and Thaddeus Dryja. I think I pronounced your names, sorry if I didn't, who published a white paper for the Lightning Network on January 14th, 2016, so it's been around a minute. In it, they argued a network of micropayment channels could fix the scalability issues of the Bitcoin network, rather than changing the Bitcoin network itself to allow for more transactions. So Jack Dorsey, CEO of Twitter, is a big fan of the Lightning Network and is personally invested in the project. And then it goes into how it works. There are plenty of resources for looking up how it works. I did look into the website, and let's see here. Let's go. There's little one-page summaries on lightning.network you can look at. And let me see here. So here's the website. It's just very simple, very brief, just links to a couple documents. And the website really is just kind of gives you basic information, doesn't really give you much else. And then there is an app called Tippin that will allow you. Lightning Network service Tippin hits 13,000 downloads. This is February 27th of 2019. tipping doesn't seem to have gotten a lot of traction. So as of that article, it had that many downloads. What did it say? Like 15,000, 13,000 downloads. I haven't seen it anywhere, and it looks to be only available on Chrome and Firefox. I guess I could install it on Brave if I wanted to. But to send and receive Bitcoin tips on Twitter. I don't know anybody who's going to really tip in Bitcoin. To me, like I said yesterday about that BitClout app, where you have to use your Bitcoin to buy BitClout, and it's a one-way transaction. Bitcoin is just not that to me. I'm going to put Bitcoin away in cold storage. I'm not going to sit here and just use my Bitcoin, especially right now while Bitcoin is exploding in value and institutions are taking it on. It just does not seem wise to me to just go throwing around Bitcoin in a tipping app, because who knows what that tip will be worth in 2 years. Anyway, like that Bitcoin pizza. So anyway, I'm about to go ahead and sign off. I've been going on for 35 minutes, and I appreciate you guys for jumping on the stream. B. Nielsen, welcome. This is my broadcast. I do this every single morning, and on Theta Network, and then I upload it to YouTube and Odyssey and Library. I'm on Float app, a decentralized social media network, Patreon. I'm on Instagram, Eureka Street Crypto Hub, and this is what I do every single morning. I broadcast some news, and then I do some project-oriented videos as well every week or two, where I kind of do a little deeper dive on a specific project. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just some average dude, and you're just kind of voyeuristically watching my journey as I'm discovering various aspects into this cryptocurrency space. And I have grown a lot in my knowledge since October 24th, 2020, when I started this broadcast, and I've been going consecutively every single morning without missing a beat since February 6th. So I'm going to see how long I can keep up this streak. And man, if you're on YouTube, give me a thumbs up or whatever. I appreciate it. But I'm not sponsored by anybody. I'm not shilling any projects. I'm just learning all this stuff as I go along and trying to help you to avoid mistakes, and I'm asking the stupid questions so you don't have to. All right, man. Well, I will talk to you guys later. Hold on. Let me get some outro music from my favorite new app, Audius. Has this been going the whole time? I don't know. All right. I need to get headphones. All right, well, I'll talk to you guys later.